So we finally have had a journalist who was at the Team USA scrimmages talking a little bit about how Caitlin Clark as an individual got on. So if you guys didn't see, it is a Fever Insider podcast from Indy Star. It is Chloe Peterson, Brian Hanshin, and Annie Costable. Obviously, Annie was there at the practices. And the thing is that they had a 3-day training camp, and the media was allowed in for 20 minutes at the end of day 1 and day 2. So you can't tell much. You really can't tell much about it all. Because at the end of the day, it's not one of those things where you can, like, you could have been at a 3-hour practice and a player like a Caitlin Clark could have just been tired. Could have just been tired at the end of those practices, because let's be real, the conditioning, even Sue Bird said it, even kind of she said it herself, where it's like, she's not, like, she's 100% healthy, but she's not 100%. And I think a lot of people are like making a point being like, oh, Jackie Young said that Paige Bueckers was the best young player. And it's like, well, I'd be a bit disappointed if, as far as, first of all, when it comes to Jackie Young, she's a guard. Guards hype up guards, forwards hype up forwards. It's always the case. I would be very concerned if Paige Bueckers was not playing better than Caitlin Clark. Caitlin Clark's basically been injured for a year. And it's their first time back. Like, that's the thing. A player doesn't miss that amount of time. It doesn't take time to get out of rust. And that's the thing. When it comes to the WNBA season, Caitlin's going to be playing. She's going to be doing multiple of these camps. She's going to be doing multiple of these camps, and she's also going to be playing in the Team USA games in March, in their training camp games. So by the time the season starts, then we can actually make talk about something. Because at the end of the day, I would say that, like, Paige probably should be better than Caitlin Clark right now at this point in time, because Caitlin Clark is not nearly at her at the level she should be at, because, you know, that's kind of how sport works and rust works, especially playing with the best in the world. But according to Annie Costable, Caitlin Clark looks healthy, but isn't 100%. As in, you can tell that she's rusty, but it's not like she's, in terms of her movement and everything, you can tell that she absolutely is going to be is 100% right. It's not like last year where she says she's 100% healthy and she's not, that she looks 100% healthy out there. Apparently the shot is there, and that she still is, as far as like her passing is concerned, her passing still where, like, what you expect from Caitlin. And one other thing that is really interesting, and this is my favorite thing about it, is that, you know, Annie Costable, who, again, look, this is somebody who actually is a basketball journalist. She's not one of these weird people that don't give a damn about the sport and just want to push narratives. That she was saying basically that it's clear that the Caitlin versus Paige isn't a thing. That there's all these camps, they're trying to see how they play together. That Caitlin versus Paige, they're not competing against each other. That they're trying to see how Caitlin and Paige can play at the same time. And I think that's that's one of those things where you're like, well, yeah, that's kind of smart. That's what any smart basketball person would do. That's what Team USA should do. Like, let's be real. Team USA, their goal is to win a gold medal. Their goal is to do two things: win a gold medal, and USA Basketball still, as a whole, is a organization that does pride itself on growing the game. They're going to want to win a gold medal, and they're going to want to grow the game. And let's be real, they're playing in the Olympics in Germany. There is absolutely some pressure on them to perform, to put on a show, and to not let what happened in the last Olympics screw them over this time. And it's very clear that whether it be now, whether it be 2024, 2025, or 2026, sorry, because they play in March, whether it be in 2026, whether it be in 2028, whether it be in 2030 for the World Cup, the Caitlin Clark Paige Bueckers backcourt is going to be a thing. Like, they are, at 23 years old, they are way too close. Like, they are way too good at 23 that they're not eventually going to be at the top level. Like, if you look at, say, a Jackie Young, Jackie Young is, for me, Jackie Young's the only guard that has a who has a chance of maybe start. I still think the three of them should start, but there is a possibility that Jackie Young starts over one of Caitlin or Paige. There's a possibility that to not piss people off, they don't start either of them. But let's just say Jackie, for argument's sake, Jackie Young is the only guard, in my opinion, that you can argue is better than Caitlin Clark or Paige Bueckers. She's the only one that's in that conversation. There's a three. There is a for me, based on what they've done in the WNBA, Caitlin Clark's 2024 season is the best season any of them have had, but she's been injured. But they're the best three. And I think Jackie Young's the only player you can really argue. She's the only player you can really argue for me. Like, she had 32 points in that game 5. And she had 32. She had 21, was it in a quarter or something in the finals? But if you look at Jackie Young's stats for her career, Jackie Young, at the age that Caitlin Clark and Paige Bueckers are, well, Paige 24 now, but at 23 years old, Jackie Young averaged 6.6 points per game. At 24 years old, Jackie Young averaged 11 points per game. She averaged 12 points per game at 25 years old. Was it? Sorry, at 24 years old, she averaged 12 points per game. At 23 years old, she averaged 11. She averaged 6 at 22 years old. So you're looking at Paige and Caitlin, who are going to be, look, they're going to be the best two guards for years. They're both better than Juju Watkins. I'm just putting it out there right now, because they both play well. They're both going to play well with each other, and there's two styles simultaneously. They mesh. They do mesh well, and that's the thing where it's like Paige is definitely more plug and play. But like Paige, Jackie, Caitlin, the three of them at the same time, two of them on the floor at the same time, is going to be near unstoppable. But the goal of Team USA's camp is not to find out which of Caitlin Clark or Paige Bueckers is starting. It's about finding out how we can win a World Cup. And realistically, what you want is you want Caitlin Clark and Paige Bueckers on at the same time. And I think everybody realistically should be hoping for that. If you are hoping for Team USA, look, as a Team USA hater and a person who will absolutely be hoping that all the players play well, but France are just a little bit better in the World Cup. I'm not going to hate watch Team USA, but I do hope that the other teams they're playing are just better. But yeah, it's one of those things where it's like, if you are actually supporting Team USA, you would hope that the two of them play together, because the two of Paige and Caitlin play together, because that's what's going to help them win. And is Caitlin going to be the best player at this camp? If Caitlin's the best player at this camp, there's something seriously wrong with the level of women's basketball. Like, if a player who has basically been injured for a year shows up and is the best player at their first training camp, because let's be real, you're not going to, it takes players weeks, if not months, to get ready to play. And you don't get it in 3 days. And especially when it comes to these camps, because if you've ever been at a national team camp, like, I know I've never been on a Team USA national team camp, but I have been at plenty of national team camps where it's all the best players in the world there. You are exhausted, because if you can't take possessions off, or not best players, best players around there. You can't take possessions off, and it's the same with every national team camp, because it is the best of the best competing with each other and against each other. It's players that you grew up playing with and against. It's players that you grew up idolizing. It's players that are simultaneously fighting against you and fighting with you, because you're teammates and not teammates. It's a weird atmosphere, but you are going to be exhausted. And if you're not 100% there conditioning wise, which Caitlin's not, you're not going to be the best player there. And it just is what it is. I mean, I look like Chelsea Gray was the best player there, for being honest. But yeah, anyway, that is pretty much it, lads. That's pretty much it. That is what Annie Kospel has said, and a kind of obvious one again, that the Team USA are looking more towards how Caitlin and Paige look together than one of them competing with each other. Because let's be real, I don't think Team Team USA give that much of a fuck about I don't think Kara Larson or Sue Bird gives that much of a fuck about who starts. They're both locks to make the team. So the reality is, it is how how the people that are locks for the team play together. Because especially at international play, it's not uncommon for someone to start and play 6 minutes and someone to come off the bench, average 5 minutes per game. And then randomly they just have a good game and play 25 minutes, because that is the level of all these players. They're all that good. Anyway, yeah. See you guys.